Today's guest is going to make you really think. Think about your voice, your message, who you talk to, how you talk to them, and how this is integral to leading a meaningful life. Oh my goodness, so interesting today. You're not going to want to miss this one. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Art of a Meaningful Life podcast. I am Carmen Davailus. I'm your host for today, and I have a very special guest today, and I'm really, really looking forward to this chat because I think it's going to be different than others, which that is the goal anyway, is to have a nice variety. And today we have Patricia Viscount, who is a brand voice strategist. And I don't know about you, but I'm very curious to learn more about this and how her career choice and what she does landed her to have meaning in her life. So, welcome, Patricia.
Thank you so much. I'm excited about being here.
Yeah, wonderful. So, as always, this is a conversation, and I have to say that one of I'm having major hot flashes today. So, every once in a while, if you see me fan, it's real life here. So, because I want to be able to think straight, right? So,
Exactly.
Patricia, we met actually at the end of a conference waiting for like a ride to the airport or something, right?
Yes. Yes.
And
It
just
was so
struck up a
fun.
conversation.
Yes, we were I was waiting in the lobby of the hotel for my Uber and you were waiting for your husband. And
Mhm.
so it was like,
Yeah.
okay, well, we're both standing here looking like we're waiting for people. So let's
I,
chat.
yes. Yeah, and I'm so glad because I just remember walking away feeling so full.
Ah,
And if I was going to say your greatest gift is that spending time with you is like, oh, I feel so good.
that makes me very happy because that is one of my values, and that is one of the most meaningful things in life is to leave people better than you found them. You know, that when you have a conversation with them, they feel positive and lighter than when you started the conversation.
Wow, I love that. And I really didn't know that was one of your top values
Yes.
when I said that because I just recall getting in the car and my husband walked over, right? I'm like, you've got to meet this gal. Isn't this
Well,
interesting?
you had just done your speech competition, so
Mhm.
I wanted to talk to you about that. But also, it's the pink hair, like it
Ah,
is the conversation starter. And how can you not walk away from somebody from that conversation not lighter when you see the pink hair and you
ah.
think, I need to talk to that person.
Oh, well, I'm so glad. I'm so glad because here we are today, months
Here we
later,
are.
right? And I love that how we can stay connected and learn about each other. And I just know this is that our listeners are gonna love hearing what you have to say in this conversation. And
Excellent.
so I got to begin. Like, what is a brand voice strategist?
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, what I do, I help coaches and consultants, so service-based providers, that kind of thing, um, share their passion with the world. So I help them discover their brand voice and help them refine it and help them make it consistent and write it down, document it so that they can talk about it themselves. They can give it to their employees or their subcontractors. So when you have a business and you meet people at networking or you write LinkedIn posts or you have your website, you're putting things out into the world and you want to make sure that it's consistent, that you're always feeling genuine and authentic when you talk to people.
Yeah.
And that's your brand voice and it comes naturally, but you want to make sure that when you're talking to somebody in person, I'm very enthusiastic, I'm very passionate, But sometimes if I sit down in front of my computer and I write an email to my people, or I write a LinkedIn post, it is very in a lot of situations, you want to sound smart, or you want to sound learned, or you want to sound, so you write very formally, but the person that's reading it that just met you in the networking situation thought you were amazing and fun, and then they read this email and they're like, is this the same person? Like, what is that?
So,
So I help people be consistent
yeah.
across all of their platforms, we call them. So whether it's your website, email, LinkedIn, in person, it's just learning your voice and leaning into it and making sure that you're consistent across all of the platforms.
This is so interesting to me because I mean I'm 66, almost 67, and I find like I'm just finding my voice in many ways. And what a struggle it is to know what my voice is. And something that's helped me is asking other people, how do I come across? And how
Yes.
do I, when someone said, oh, you talk so slow, and it's like, you could do meditation tapes. I'm like, what? Because I felt like I was energetic, right? I'm like, seriously? And then you talk faster. And I tried, and this was a speech coach who knows about, so I'm like, well, I'm trusting you, and I do. And I didn't realize that
So
like
interesting.
I could
Yeah.
rock a baby to sleep.
And so I have a quiz that's my freebie, and people can go and take it, and I would love for you to take it just to see what that is. So there are 9 different voice types, and
Mm,
they're sort of broken down into 3 different kinds. There's voices of authority, which is, I am going to tell you how it is, or voices of accessibility, which is working together, that kind of thing. So
mhm,
it's really interesting because it's so innate, because you just show up the way you show up.
right?
But then when you're in a situation like a formal a formal situation like speeches or emails, or your body tends to take over and you write or you present yourself more formally. So it's very interesting that I take my clients through this exercise, and we go through over 100 different words, and they rate them on how important they are for their brand.
Oh,
And it's really because so you can only have 4 to 9 core words. And so when you're going through each of those
I'm going to need a
words,
lot more than that, Patricia.
yeah, but that's the thing. Like, that's how you really dial it in. When
Hmm.
I first started, I'm clearly very extroverted and big personality. And a lot of people, when they start their business, I've been told my whole life, you're too loud, or you're too gregarious, or you're too this.
Too
And
much.
too much.
Hmm.
And so then when I started my own business, it's like, in order to be seen as professional or be taken seriously, you have to dial that back. But your people are going to be attracted to your energy
Hmm.
and your creativity, and they're going to love that gregarious.
When
So
you're
it's
authentic,
exactly,
right? Authentic to
exactly.
who you are. Now, what if
Yeah,
you have, as I can think for myself, there are times I can be very wormy. I mean,
yeah,
I can
yeah.
be very analytical. And I mean, I was a nurse practitioner for years, right? So you
Yes.
want to talk science, I can talk science. At the same time, I have this really soft side
Yeah.
and when I'm at home, I tend to be, maybe a little funny here and there, but I get in a crowd and I can talk myself like, just walk in, it'll be okay. So I'm that introvert, right? And then when I
Yes.
am around people, instantly it's like that balloon and I'm happy to be just to be myself. So I
Yes.
kind of feel like I'm all over the place with.
Absolutely. And I think that those are the experiences and your knowledge and your expertise, but those are all obviously parts of you. But when you're communicating and when you're expressing yourself, you're always going to have that same voice and that genuineness that people are going to recognize. And whether, it's not like it's like, oh, I wonder. And sometimes we're just off, right?
Uh-huh.
So, people are like, oh, I wonder what's wrong with Carmen. Are you okay?
Yeah.
And, maybe sometimes there is, you're feeling a little pressure, you're tired, you're not feeling well, whatever. But genuinely or generally, you have the same experience or the same voice
Mm.
that comes across. And, you may have a thought that, oh, I really don't want to go into this luncheon, or I really don't want to. And then you get there and then you feed off that energy. And then it's like, okay, this is me. And you show up the way you genuinely are.
Yeah. And there's just so much insecurity in business, I think. And I know I'm not alone in that, but I'll speak for
Absolutely.
myself. There's just
Yeah.
a great deal of insecurity. It's new. I mean, I'm older, but it's new still. And it's
Yes.
not what I spent most of my life doing. And I had a lot to learn. And my first thought is everybody in this room knows more than me. And
Absolutely.
I know that's not true. So then I talk to myself. I'm like, no, that's just crazy talk. Just
Yeah.
get in there and have some fun. And I started telling myself, someone in the room is going to need to talk to you for some reason.
Ah,
Be open to that.
that-
That's my, I mean, where I had coaches say, be on a mission, how many people you're going to talk to and how
yes.
many. And I just thought that just doesn't fit with me personally.
Yeah.
But the idea that I'm here to serve and and then be open without expectation, it just
Yes.
frees me up. And that
Absolutely.
was the beginning of my business changing,
Ah,
and me to be more
yes.
comfortable. So
Well, and that's beautiful. And it's so interesting because everyone I worked in the army for 15 years and then I was in oil and gas for another 12. So, the experiences that you have over your life obviously molds you into who you are. And you have a story and you have an experience that nobody else does. And unless you can't tell a story, everybody is going to be excited about hearing what you have to say or hearing a story or, that's I just love hearing those stories. I love being part of a group where you're listening and you're building relationships and you are really building that community. And if the people truly care about you or care about that community, they're always going to want to hear from other people.
so the stories are really where you get to that connection and hearing what
Yes,
people have to say
yes.
and learning
It's
about
so
them without them saying that, right?
Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. Yeah. And one of my values is lift others as I climb. So it's really about giving people the space and giving them the opportunity to talk and to tell their story and to learn more about them so that I can help them however I can. So
And we're
it's sorry, go ahead.
I'm just going to say, in case anybody's wondering, we will for sure have that link to the is it a questionnaire or like your
The quiz.
the quiz. Yeah, the
Yes.
quiz so
Yeah,
that
that would be amazing.
you
It's
can
I love seeing how because it's always interesting because you after you talk to somebody or you're in their inbox or you get email from them and you think, "Oh, this is really great. They're funny or they're salty or and then they take the quiz and it's like most of the time it's like I knew it or it's like, "Oh, that's interesting." Because one of them is one of the voice types is buttoned up. You're very professional and a colleague of mine, I ended up working with her she said, I agreed with it, but I'm buttoned up, but with a nudge and a wink. So it was really quite interesting because she had her own spin on her voice, right? So it was really quite fun.
Yes.
Somebody told me this once a really long time ago, and it has always stayed with me. So he said or they, I don't know, I don't remember who it was, but they said when boys grow up, they they're taught like cowboys or wrestling or things that one of them has to come out on the top, like one of them has to be a winner and one of them has to be a loser, whereas girls, we learn to play with dolls and to play house and to really connect with each other and collaborate,
Mhm.
and we just grow older and it's always the same, which I it was so interesting to me because that was the first time that anybody really pointed that out to me.
Mhm.
And it really stuck with me. I don't know what you think of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, well, I've worked with a variety of people, male, female, what have you, and I think the approach, I thought it was just me personally for my personality, right?
Yeah,
That I think I've worked with female coaches that it just didn't fit with me, my personality, either
yeah,
too strong or not strong enough or what have you, who knows,
yeah,
but and nothing negative about, I mean,
yeah,
they were all wonderful, just maybe not wonderful for me. And
yes,
I had to really be discerning of that. When I first started, I couldn't tell you who was really good for me or who wasn't, because I didn't know enough to know what to ask, or that
right.
this isn't what I should be doing, until it took a little while, right? I'm like, wait a second, this just doesn't jive with me in the right way. And
Yeah,
I want to excel and not struggle to gain the message that I need to get from them.
yes, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, and
yeah.
fit is so important you're when you're paying money and when you're trying to get to a different level or that kind of thing. It's just fit is so important. So yes, asking those questions, asking the right questions, and learning to listen to your gut, right? The intuition is such a big thing. Yes.
Yeah, that was a hard thing for me too. As much as I knew about it and even I was a holistic nurse practitioner. So I mean, I studied holism and the importance of intuition and
Oh,
listening. And yet I was so
cool.
strongly influenced, just for a variety of reasons, easily influenced. And I paid attention to other people,
Yes.
that I really had to, like, if there's a big decision or a choice, I, I may say something like to my husband. I'm like, don't say a word because I don't want to be influenced. I want to
Yes.
include you, but I want
Yeah,
to think on it by myself first, because I don't want to be influenced ahead of time. So
exactly.
that has been my way to tune in and then to address it. But just to be sure that I can hear my voice clearly without the noise of society or other people, or, you name
Yes.
it. And that's something I had to learn about myself, that, I mean, was after, was just recently in the last decade.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, these days there's so much noise. So it's really hard to calm that enough to listen, to be able to hear yourself and your intuition. So
Yeah.
that's amazing.
So speaking intuition, then, I mean, we're talking about meaningful life. So, how has intuition played a role for you as far as your sense of a meaningful life?
Intuition it's very interesting because I'm on my third career. As you have changed, I went from the army to corporate to um, being an entrepreneur, owning my own business, and they're very different.
My gosh, different. Yes.
Yes. And so, learning to listen to yourself and say, I'm not happy. Life is too short. How are you going to fix this? How are you going to move yourself? So that intuition, when it's like, okay, it's time. It's time to make a change.
Hmm.
It's time to move on. And, my first marriage broke up, and it was like, okay, this is not good. This isn't a good situation anymore, that kind of thing. So intuition has really been essential for me to continue to evolve as a person, as a human, as a wife and a friend and a sister. And so it has been critical.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a friend ask me if what in 2025 do you not want to carry over to 2026?
Mm,
And I
yes.
was like, and I have been busy. It's October, November timeframe, right? And that's my
Yeah.
time of year to plan for next year.
Yes.
And as I'm making my plans, that was not a question I had asked. And it surprised me because I thought that maybe should have been the first question. Like,
Yeah.
not only what do I want to do, but what do I not want to do? And it wasn't like, which one are you not making enough money at or which one, but it's like, what do you want?
Yes. What brings you joy?
Yes, yes. Like,
Yeah.
what do you really, and what do you not want to do more of?
Yes.
Yeah. And so video editing, if there's anybody out there,
She
I
does
mean,
not want to do video editing
I
anymore.
love podcast. I love podcasts. I love connecting with people. I love talking and I and I the messages that I get from people and comments and so
Oh,
I
that's
know we're
amazing.
reaching people, right? And I'm like that's my sense of serving. And then when it comes to the editing piece, I'm like, okay, I need to make enough to pay for an editor because that does
Yeah.
not bring me joy. And
That
I
is
love
such a powerful question, though.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, do you have an idea what do you not want to bring with you in the new year?
I want to serve my clients in a different way. I'm still doing a lot. I'm doing brand voice strategy, but I'm still doing a lot of writing. And the writing has really like websites and email copy and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But what I would love to do more of in 2026 is more strategy, more I call it road mapping sessions. So I've done several of them, and they really fill me up because I get into a room or a virtual room with a client for 90 minutes, and they come with a problem, whether it's I don't know who my target audience is. I want to change my services. I know that I should be doing content, but I don't know where. I don't know what to say. I don't know what my key messages are, all of those things. We get into a room and we just talk and I ask questions and we get that clarity.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, they walk away with a roadmap, with
Mm-hmm.
a plan, and I send them transcripts and I send them a report and next steps and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I see, and I don't know if it's just instant gratification because I see how excited they are to move forward.
Yeah. I
But
bet it's like a big lift off their
yes,
shoulders too, right? Like I'm putting myself in that position, like, oh, to be able to
exactly,
bounce ideas off and,
exactly.
to have a direction.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
And with websites, it's you do the research and you write it and then you send it to your client and they make it and you do the brand voice and you make sure that it sounds like them and it represents them and
Yeah.
but then you go back and forth and it's a much longer process. It's still very interesting and I get to serve them, but
Hmm.
it's a lot more it's just a lot more time and energy. Whereas this is like, and then they get and they're like, I'm so happy with my website. But this is the road mapping sessions are
Yeah.
just so powerful.
I could
And
see
I
it.
that's my favorite feeling in the world is like I have helped someone, I have served someone is able to transform their lives, their clients, their business because of that hour and a half that we just spent together. And that to me is the most amazing feeling in the world.
See, I love that. I love, and I could see why, because and you're that's like your gift, right? To be able to hear something and to ask the right questions
Yes,
and put the right messages together.
exactly.
And like me with the podcast editing, it's the creation of something back and forth and reading it and redoing it. And it's like,
Yes,
oh, I'm more of a spark starter. I'm a spark
yes,
lots of ideas, and I'm like, this just moves way too slow for me.
yes. Have you ever done the Kobe test or whatever? It tells it's kind of like a personality test, but some people are like starters. Like they could start 1,000 things, but they're not interested in finishing them. Like
Yeah.
there's just like they're the ideas people, and then their team are the implementers kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I have a creativity quiz because you were really talking about how we create, right?
Yes,
And that's one of the creative styles or is ways that spark starter, and then
yes,
you've got your bold disruptors who like to come in and go, I've got it. And it
yes,
may not be great at following through. And then you've
yes,
got your more analytical people who will take and break it all down. And they're probably like the website editors and
yes,
the video editors, right? That's what I need in my team.
yes,
It's like
exactly.
because we all have our personalities and where our sweet spot is, and what we best usually what we enjoy the most is what we do the best.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yes. Well, it's funny
Yeah.
because I was just when I was filling out the form, you were talking about failing forward and unlocking creativity through mistakes. And
Yes.
that's just so interesting because my brand voice is the parent.
Ah,
So I try to talk about the mistakes that I've made and helping my clients avoid them.
I
I talk a lot about like I'm very pragmatic, but I'm also approachable, but a bit authoritative. And so it's really interesting. Those are my core words.
uh-huh.
So I'm curious and I'm enthusiastic and I'm passionate, clearly. But
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to, the content that I create is trying to help my clients avoid the pitfalls and the mistakes that I've made. So
Mhm.
I just love that failing forward. I think that's such an amazing concept that you don't see failure as a problem. You see it as a way to grow.
Right. A painful way to grow, but
A
yeah.
painful. Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Well, I've read where charisma is like so for speaking, when I was getting ready to speak, I studied a lot and
Yes.
I seem to have forgotten a lot of it when I got on stage. But that's another story.
Yes. Well, your nervous system is all jacked up and
And that was quite a day for me. That's another story, but and wonderful.
oh,
It was a
right.
wonderful day.
Yes.
But a blend between that, the knowledge and the being the an authority in what you're talking about, and having that side of serving and softness and approachability. So what you just described is like is what how charisma is defined.
Ah,
Yeah,
well,
so there
that's
you
very
go.
interesting.
So you
Hmm.
have that charisma. Mm. Okay.
Ah, well, thank you.
Um, well, Patricia, as always, I could talk a whole lot more,
Yes.
and you're
Yeah.
so interesting, and this has been wonderful. So I'm going to close with the question, as we're talking about, so many of us and so many of our listeners have started in a career and switched to another and moved on. And I look at that as evolution myself. I used to look at that as a failure of sorts, like, oh, I picked the wrong one. And now what am I going to do? But I don't see it that way at all. Maybe because I have jumped from one to another, but I've grown, right? And
Yes.
there were a lot of teachers along the way. So I'm wondering what for you, what teacher had the most influence on you as a person?
I always go to my high school English teacher.
Mhm.
And because he introduced his class to Shakespeare and to the Greek classics and to, all of the things. And he really opened up my eyes. And of course, because I'm a writer, it
Mhm.
was so interesting to me.
Mhm.
So for me, just to have that um, that openness and that the curiosity to explore so many different things.
Hmm.
So for like overall, I would say that he was my biggest teacher. But in going back to my army career, my first boss, he taught me so much about being a professional and being in the army and being open to new ideas and to bring people along, which I thought was really, for me, that's really interesting, like teamwork. And everybody has a voice and everybody has a role to play to make the best outcome of a team. So
That's what a gift. What a
he
gift.
was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And I'm going to tell our listeners we're going to have your contact information
Yes.
because you're going to want to take the quiz. And if you're like me, you're wondering like, what am I going to do when I grow up? What's my next step? And what should that look like? And I don't know, the older I get, the more I think I there's just no time to waste. It's like I just don't want to waste my life doing anything that's not right in my heart and the right
Exactly.
thing.
That's amazing. Yes. Thank you for sharing that because that is very important, I
Mhm.
think.
Oh, thank you. And thank you all for listening. And we will catch up with you, I would say, in the next week. But because one of us doesn't like to edit videos so much, it might be 2 weeks. True story. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.